So I'm here with a dare, and I know that as part of you signing up for YHC and Mastery, that you allowed yourself the time in our enrollment process to get to the point where you knew you were ready.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that just for someone that they really maybe want to do it, but they might feel like they're never actually ready, and how you made that commitment to actually start, and then what happened since you started?
Yeah. So I found out about YHC through a Facebook ad, clicked on it. It may be the only Facebook ad I have ever clicked on in my life. Like, I don't click them just to spite it, right? And I signed up for the hour, I don't know if it was an hour-long call.
Yeah, the master class.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so, right, that was it. So I watched the master class, and then I ended up scheduling a call with one of your people, with your enrollment coach. And we talked. I had a lot of questions. I asked how much it cost. My jaw dropped to the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's half of the money I make in a year.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not like, oh, I could find, you know, like, oh, I'll just cut out Starbucks or something kind of thing. It was like, well, it sounds great, but I can't.
Yeah.
Like, what am I not supposed to eat? Should I live on the street? Like, what?
Yeah.
What should I give up? But it was a good conversation, and I really liked what the program seemed to be offering. It was like, well, this is everything I feel like I need, and this is like my yoga MBA.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was interested, but it didn't make sense. And so we scheduled another appointment for a month in advance, or at least a couple weeks out. We had another good solid conversation. I had a lot of questions. I read the book that the coach had encouraged me to read. You know, I had been thinking about it, sitting on it, doing my homework, asking people I knew, what do you think? And everyone's like, this sounds amazing, you should do it. And I was the only one who was like, and of course they weren't ponying up to pay for it.
Sure.
So, but everyone that I asked who, I trusted about it was like, yeah, you should do it. And it felt right. But again, okay, logistically, I'm already in debt. How am I supposed to do this?
Yeah.
I have student loans. So we scheduled one more call, and it triggered me really badly, actually. The call did. And
yeah, it's upsetting.
It was upsetting, yeah. There was a miscommunication, and it was all supposed to happen exactly like it did, but I got upset on the call, and, the enrollment coach felt really bad. She realized that she'd stepped in the exact thing that was bothersome to me. And, people are people, and I was able to be like, whatever. But that, to me, was like, okay, I'm really triggered. The bus for this quarter is leaving in a month. I can't just commit to that. No, it's off the table. Yeah. But I didn't say it's off the table forever. I said it's a no until it's a yes, if it's ever a yes.
Yeah.
And I just took it off. Nope, we're not doing it. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm not going to pressure myself. I'm not going to stress about this. And by the way, she never made me feel pressured. Yeah. She kept answering my questions and fielding what I had to say.
Yeah.
But I never felt like, oh, I have to do this. Yeah. Which was critical, because I would have been out of there so fast if I felt like she needed me to do it.
Yeah.
But I think she could really feel that it was the right place for me.
Yeah,
for
you needed to do it to get what you wanted, or something exactly like it.
Mm-hmm. She's like, you'll get where you need to go, but how hard do you want it to be? And that was the thing that struck. I was like, oh shoot, I could spend a long time making the mistakes that need to be made before I figure out what this program would probably cohesively teach me. Yeah. And it's for people like me. It's not just a business course, right?
Right.
So I, took it off the table and really just freed myself up and wasn't thinking much about it. But I'm a pretty intuitive person, and I go with the instructions I'm given. And about 3 days before the course started, I was like, I think I need to do it, and I think I know how to do it. And my folks said that they would lend me money, and I checked into getting a loan from the bank, but realized that I also happened to have more cash than I thought, money that I'd had put away for other things. I was like, this is flexible. I kind of was able to collect on my my virtues, if you will.
Yeah.
Like I had put away money and I had been responsible.
You're responsible.
Right? So I was like, I think I can do it.
Yeah.
And I, came up with a backup plan for paying for it. And I was like, I kind of leveraged the timing because I know that you guys really, you don't enroll aggressively, that's not the word, but you enroll with persistence. Like, it's like, you will be there if there's a chance that the person wants to sign up.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I want to do it, but this is an online program, and this is half of my annual income.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do it, I want to talk to Kate. I want to have a one-on-one conversation, because I
don't
know if this thing actually exists. It feels real, but like there's no brick and mortar thing, and I can't feel it.
Yeah.
So and it felt kind of good to be like, no, like you can do me a solid. I'm gonna give you all my money. You can do me a solid. Like, and if you don't want to, that's okay too, right? Like, so it felt good to be like, no, it's fine to ask for that. Yeah. And you either had the time or you made the time, and we spoke. It wasn't even that long of a conversation. It didn't need to be. I just needed to know that you were real, could respond to a couple of my questions. I think I actually said, you've made me kind of mad. Yeah. Because some of the stuff that you've said challenges my beliefs. Yeah. And to me, that's exciting. Yeah. And I wanted to know how you responded to that. Yeah. That was really important to me. And again, like, you could have responded any way you wanted, and that would have been fine. But you were like, tell me. And I was like, all right, we're cooking with gas. Because a response to that statement can tell me so much about what a teacher is going to be like. Mm-hmm. I need the teacher to be able to handle my, frustration. Yeah. And that's why I don't usually take on teachers, because I don't want not everyone can, and not everyone should be able to handle a little bit of frustration from me. So you handled it really well, and we had this great, quick little dense conversation, and I was like, I'm in. Yeah. And I signed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then since you've signed up, I've seen you show up, and that price of having the skin in the game, or what many people call, and there's a lot of research on when you actually get to a point of no return, like, you have to make this work. You have to change your business model. Mm-hmm. I have been very consistent in asking you to focus your energy in one direction since you signed up, and you're in that, and you're discovering the power of that, and you're vested, right? You are vested in the company of Adair. Mm-hmm. No messing around. The business model of this, you showed up to New York, you participated fully, vulnerably, had massive breakthroughs, right? And in a short period of time, and really threw yourself into the heart of the community. And what I've seen is you were also able to ask for support and to receive that support. Some people ask, but then they can't receive. But you could ask and you could receive. So fast forward, it's only when you signed up 10 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, not very much time.
And what's changed?
Nothing's the same. How about that? I mean, we're whole beings, right? Like, you can't change something fundamental and not have everything else be impacted, subtly or dramatically. I shift quickly in general. Yeah. So
there's no Amma in you. It's such a different. Yeah.
Yeah, I shift fast in general, and the habits are like, let's get everything really solid and stable so we can turn the shifter up times. I 100x my shifting is what it feels like, which is pretty intense, but it's appropriate for me. Yeah, it's me, right? It's that's who I am. So I get to access that evolutionary nature in a really different way. I started teaching a 6 a.m. yoga class, and I've never been a morning person. And it's a co-op. I can teach whenever I want, if I want. I chose a 6 a.m. yoga class, and that's not something I would have believed of myself 3 months ago.
Yeah, so the identity evolution is just right off the bat.
It's been fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now with seeing this next offering coming your way, that you're going to be changing how you exchange value in the marketplace, how you package your Shakti, how you're able to provide real, true, and very deep, long-lasting value to the people that come to you. You're starting to get a sense of making that real. And how do you feel about that?
It's still a little scary.
Yeah.
Because the way it works is like first we have the quarter of Body Thrive, and then
you're like barely even beginning. So
I'm not
so
even
far.
in YHC yet. I'm not even in that point
Yeah.
yet. But again, it's like kind of appropriate for me. Like, I put on the brakes. I'm like, don't be an overachiever, and the universe is like, go overachieve, go ahead, jump in, and I'm like, okay. So, in the sense that I don't have the logistical railroad tracks to run it on yet. I'm like, but it feels right, and I like to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Like that's where I like to hang out. I do not sit at the back. You know me well enough after a couple of days to see that like it's hard for me to not be right at the front and like do the thing. So I have the opportunity to just like sit back, which isn't always easy for me, and let what we did to this, over this retreat, live event kind of percolate, like you said, and just like let it settle in, see what happens. And I have these amazing people, both, ones that I made contact with prior to the live event and since then.
Yeah, and that are part of the yoga health coaching community. Exactly.
There's this whole community that I feel really comfortable in asking for help because I did that at the live event and I got what I needed.
Yeah.
So if I need help, there are people to help me.
Yeah. What does that feel like?
Well, it feels really good.
Yeah. Makes it a little less scary.
Yeah. It is scary to change, but I know that for a lot of us, it's not a choice that makes any sense to make not to change. It's like if I'm gonna be alive, I might as well evolve. And if I'm gonna evolve, and this is where I am now, I might as well find the best people to support me.
Yeah, and I would say in addition to that, if I'm gonna be a wellness pro, I better make it work for me. I better make it work for myself financially. I better make it work for growing my empowerment, my embodiment, my resistance, or Ayurveda, my ojas, my deep sustaining energy. I better find a model that is deeply and truly aligned to who I want to become.
And that's why your link was, I think it was just, that it wasn't an accident. Things aligned for me to click on that one link, that one time, because I've been hanging out on the sidelines, knowing I've been learning different things that I needed to learn, knowing that I needed something that would be sustainable for me, avoiding a career with my master's in social work in the traditional track, knowing that would be really bad for me, but also realizing that those skills that I have are invaluable. So I've been kind of sitting, poised, and waiting.
Yeah.
And what a nice thing to feel like I found what I was waiting for. Because I was welcoming it too.
Yeah,
I wasn't like,
you were totally
I wasn't
open.
like sitting back like, when's life gonna happen for me?
Yeah, not at all. And you, like you said, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That you were looking, you knew there was something for you, or at least had that inkling of I want something. So you met a lot of yoga health coaches this past weekend, and from a lot of different professions, right? Doctors, nurses, yoga teachers. And tell me a little bit about how it feels to be part of this network, or just at the beginning part of walking into the doors of this network here in yoga health coaching.
So one of the most powerful things about the network is I'm sensitive and can feel things pretty easily in a group. No competition. And the group is self-aware enough where if there's something like that is coming up, they're not letting it run the show. Like, it's not a place where competition is invited.
Yeah.
And I've never really conceived of or been around people who were making money who didn't operate in a competitive way. So I'm suddenly around a bunch of people who are making money, and the ones who have been at it and who seems like it's a really good fit for are making really good money doing exactly what they want. And it's like an open source situation once you're in this world. Like everybody wants to share what they're doing well. And
and help each other, right?
And help each other. I mean, I've already made friends with people who are, a couple years along.
Yeah.
So it gives me that sense of security. Like, okay, this is not like like I was afraid of in the beginning. This isn't like a pyramid scheme or like a scary franchise, because you don't.
Oh no,
know
that's so true. No, and I'm laughing
that.
because I'm like, oh right, of course. Like who knows when? Yeah.
And I should be concerned about that. If you're not thinking about that, and you're watching this video, you should be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, contact me if you need to, but you should be worried about that or aware. So yeah, I'm around these people and it's working for them, and no one has been shy about offering support. And because I'm somebody who really loves to support, and I'm someone who's learning fast how to receive it, there's this mutuality that just offers.
Yeah, the law of reciprocity is kicking in, and you're.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
I'm so glad.
Me too. Like, I had this conversation with my accountability partner, so we started at the same time the other day, and something flew out of my mouth that felt so wonderful. I said, we had like a misunderstanding, like something kind of like happened, right? It happens with human beings. And I said, listen, I'm just as invested in your growth as I am in mine. It is totally true.
Yeah.
And I felt totally safe and comfortable saying that because I knew she was going to step right up.
Oh.
And not everybody in the world is like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad. The other thing that I noticed is we allow you to be you. And I feel, and we do this for everybody, right? And we celebrate that. Like you have, the whole unique snowflake, right? But some snowflakes are really unique. And I felt really strongly with you from the first time we talked on the phone that it was kind of like the first time I talked to Elise Marie Collins, author of Superager, and the woman who's really responsible for the Yoga Health Coaching blog. Is when I first talked to her, I was like, you're really unique. And a lot of people haven't been able to not only celebrate that, but actually grow from that. And I felt the same thing in talking with you. And it's usually when people have a very high Vata constitution, they have a lot of ether, and other people don't. They just don't know how to nourish and receive from that. And it's so cool as I see Elise and as I see, you, and we have all the different constitutions, but there's this excitement that comes into the community. There's new gateways that are opened, and you shared your Kundalini yoga practice with the group, you shared your voice and singing with the group, and you brought your true spirit in. And how does it feel like that, to be in a group that can receive all of you?
I didn't think it was going to be possible. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah, and what I love about that is that's your gift, that you'll bring that gift to others, because there's so many people that don't haven't experienced that yet.
Yeah, it's really cool to be in a space like that where it's like, and it's not like the world has ever been like, no, Adair, you can't be you directly. I've actually been really well supported in being myself in a lot of environments, which just means props to the people who haven't and are still doing their thing. Yeah. But I've spent so much time kind of battering my head against whatever was in front of me, just being like, well, these 18 paths aren't going to work for me. That's evident. So I'm going to have to blaze this trail. And I have been just working so hard, which is fine because it got me to exactly where I am. But I'm like, oh, here are some people who can at least help me bushwhack. I don't need anybody to blaze my path for me either, but can you just grab a machete and help me for a little while?
Yeah, or you're heading in the same direction.
Yeah,
right?
Or maybe we can do the same thing for a while, right? Yeah. And that's the beauty of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that, you know, our enrollment process enabled you to take the time that you needed, and that you were able to find the way to invest in what you really wanted for your career track, and that it's even better than expected. So thank you, and thanks for talking to everybody about your experience.
You got it. Thanks.
Yay!
Really, thank you.
Thank you. I can't wait to see where we go from here.
You never know.